Really? What did you do with the rent money? Oh, Chrissy said, pointing toward the kitchen. I just left it over there on that empty shelf above the sink. Jack and Jonna scrambled to the kitchen. They tore through the shelves, knocking over boxes of cereal and stacks of plates. The shelf above the sink was completely bare. There was no envelope. There was no money. The reality hit them like a physical blow. The money wasn't lost. It was gone. Call the police, Jack whispered hoarsely. 2 hours later, a tired-looking police officer stood in their living room, clicking a ballpoint pen. He had listened to their story, surveyed the unbroken windows, and looked at the unlocked front door. So, the officer sighed, adjusting his utility belt. Tell me, are you in the habit of leaving $300 in cash lying around? We're not in the habit of having $300, Jack explained desperately. That was our rent money. You see, every week we collect some money for the kitty. And you kept this cash hanging around loose? Of course not, Jonna interjected. It wasn't loose. It was in a big white envelope with the word rent printed on it in red marker. The officer rubbed his eyes. Do you have the serial numbers of the notes? No, Jack said. 2 of them were 50s. 15 of them were 10s. That's all we know. The officer closed his notepad. Look, kids, next time you want to fake a burglary to get out of paying your landlord, make it look real. Break a few things. Get rid of the TV. And think up a better story than leaving $300 lying around in an envelope marked rent. Nobody is that stupid. We are, Chrissy argued proudly, crossing her arms. The officer just shook his head and walked out the door, muttering about rookies and wasted time. What are we going to do? Jonna asked, sinking onto the sofa. Roper will be here any minute to collect. He warned us last month. If we don't have the money today, he'll throw us out. We need a loan. Jack paced the floor. I'll go to the college. There is a financial aid department at my school. They give loans to students in need. If I tell them I was robbed, they have to help me. The next morning, Jack sat in the cramped, sterile office of Mr. Travers, the college financial aid officer. Travers was a thin, nervous man who looked like he had never smiled in his life. So, your apartment was burgled, Mr. Travers said, looking over Jack's application. Dear, you know, sometimes I think it'd be better just to leave the front door open. We'd probably be safer that way. Mr. Travers, Jack said earnestly, leaning forward. I need this loan. I share an apartment with a couple of roommates who don't have any money either. And since it's harder for women to get a loan, I decided it was up to me. Mr. Travers stopped writing. He slowly looked up over his horn-rimmed glasses. You're living with 2 women? Jack cursed internally. Oh, yeah, but that won't hurt my application, will it? I mean, this is the 70s. For heaven's sake, this is a college, not a monastery. Well, Mr. Travers coughed, clearly uncomfortable. I suppose not. Now, $300. Are you sure this is going to be enough? I don't believe in biting off more than I can chew. Jack smiled, sensing victory. I can pay it back. I work a 6-hour school day. I study all night, but I also find time to pick up part-time jobs. Commendable, Mr. Travers said, flipping the page. Just one more question. How much does your father make for a living? Jack blinked. My father? What does that have to do with anything? We need to ensure you are a true hardship case, Travers explained. Well, he makes over $6,000 a year, Jack said. Travers sighed, closing the folder. I'm sorry, Mr. Tripper. According to our guidelines, if your father earns over $6,000, you are not considered a hardship case. Your loan is denied. What? Jack stood up, slamming his hands on the desk. If my father were paying my rent, I wouldn't be sitting here begging you for money. The argument was useless. Jack returned to the apartment empty-handed, his shoulders slumped in defeat. Johnny and Chrissy were waiting anxiously. When they saw his face, they knew. He turned you down, Johnny said quietly. My dad makes too much money, Jack groaned, collapsing onto a dining chair. We're doomed. Suddenly, there was a sharp knock at the door. It was the knock of doom. It was Stanley Roper. Hide, Jack hissed, jumping up. We'll keep him out for the night. We'll go to the pub. He'll be back as soon as he figures it out. Johnny panicked. Grab your coats. Out the window. Jack scrambled toward the balcony, but it was too late. The door opened. Roper stood there, wearing a surprisingly clean shirt, with Helen standing behind him in a floral dress. Hold it, hold it. Come back here, Roper commanded as Jack had one leg thrown over the balcony railing. This time, nobody's leaving. Jack slowly climbed back inside, his head hung low. Look, Mr. Roper, we can explain. I don't want any explanation, Roper barked. I just want a yes or a no. Do you want to have dinner with us tonight? Jack, Johnny, and Chrissy stared at him in stunned silence. What? Jack asked, his brain misfiring. He's trying to invite you out to dinner tonight. Helen smiled, stepping out from behind her husband. For our anniversary. Is that all? Chrissy asked, her voice squeaking. Well, maybe we can go bowling afterwards. We accept, Jonna said quickly. Thank you very much. My pleasure, Roper mumbled grumpily. My idea. My money. Oh, wow. Jack let out a massive breath, wiping sweat from his forehead. And here all along we thought you were coming up to collect the rent. Roper paused, his brow furrowing. Wait a minute. You say something about the rent. I don't remember, because you already paid it. The three roommates froze. No, Mr. Roper, Jonna said carefully. We didn't. Yeah, you did, Roper said matter-of-factly. You remember I came up to fix the sink yesterday. There was a white envelope sitting on the shelf right above it that said rent in big red letters. So, naturally, I took it. The silence that followed was so profound you could have heard a pin drop. Oh, Jack whispered, his eyes widening. You took it. We've been robbed, Chrissy said, realization dawning on her face. By the landlord. We have the police here and everything. Johnny yelled, half angry, half relieved. Why didn't you leave us a receipt? A receipt? Roper looked offended. I always do. You think